In the mid to late 1700s, York stood as the northern capital of England, older than London's emerging dominance and more established than the industrial towns that were soon to rise. Its population steady between 11 and 16,000, reflecting a city designed for governance and trade rather than expansion or production. Unlike the industrializing cities elsewhere, York maintained a deliberate pace of life, a stable social and economic structure, and streets and buildings that had grown organically over centuries rather than being imposed by rapid urban planning. Through modern AI reconstructions of historic maps, paintings, and engravings, we can see a city built for authority, tradition, and administration, where every street, building, and market reflected centuries of governance. York, before railways, factories, and industrial speed, was a city operating on human scale, where time moved slowly, decisions were made face-to-face, and civic life centered on social, legal, and religious order rather than production or mechanization. Its population may have seemed small compared to the booming towns elsewhere, but in reality, it was perfectly calibrated to serve as a regional capital, balancing trade, law, religion, and social order in a city whose purpose was both clear and enduring. The defining feature of York was its walls, ancient fortifications first built on Roman foundations and later reconstructed in medieval stone, which by the 1700s no longer served a military function but still shaped movement, space, and authority throughout the city. 4 main gates, Bootham Bar, Monk Bar, Walmgate Bar, and Micklegate Bar, controlled entry, channeling all arrivals into a deliberate path that made access visible and regulated. Inside, streets were narrow, often unpaved, and crowded with horses, carts, and pedestrians, while buildings leaned toward each other across roadways, limiting light and space and creating a dense, compact urban fabric. York had no wide boulevards, no grand avenues, no room for fast movement. Every inch of the city was purposeful, designed for slow, deliberate travel by foot, horse, or cart. The walls were more than a boundary. They were instruments of governance, concentrating authority where movement slowed and arrivals became ceremonial, visible, and symbolic. Standing at any of the bars, one could feel the weight of centuries as the city revealed itself as a living, breathing administrative organism, a place where every street, gate, and corner carried meaning and controlled social and economic interactions, shaping the daily life of all residents. York's administrative importance was highlighted through its assize courts, held twice a year in Lent and summer, when judges traveled from London to try serious criminal cases, including murder, theft, and assault, as well as civil disputes affecting property, trade, and status. These assizes were not quiet legal sessions. They transformed the city into a bustling center of social, economic, and legal activity. Inns and taverns overflowed, markets swelled, and the streets teemed with gentry, lawyers, witnesses, and spectators who came to observe, participate, and profit from the events. Justice was performed publicly. Criminals condemned at the assizes were executed at Tyburn, York's execution site, in full view of the populace, ensuring that the law was both visible and authoritative. The assizes were therefore not merely legal proceedings. They were theatrical, social, and economic phenomena, reinforcing the city's role as a hub of regional governance, where authority was enacted daily through law, ritual, and communal observation, and where residents and visitors alike experienced the power of the state in a direct, tangible way. York's strategic importance extended beyond governance into military readiness, demonstrated in 1745 when Bonnie Prince Charlie's Jacobite army advanced south from Scotland. Though the rebel forces eventually turned back at Derby, York prepared for a potential siege, stationing a garrison and fortifying its ancient walls, showing that even centuries-old defenses remained relevant. The city's layout, walls, and public spaces were instruments of authority and organization, allowing officials to project power while maintaining civic order. Governance at this time was visible and performative. Decisions, presence, and authority were communicated through tangible structures and organized events rather than hidden bureaucracy. York's streets, markets, and buildings reflected this principle. Slow, regulated movement allowed officials to monitor, control, and administer effectively, blending urban planning, legal authority, and military preparedness into a coherent system that reinforced the city's role as the northern capital. Life within York was dense, structured, and socially regulated. Markets operated on fixed days, especially Thursday, when farmers from the surrounding countryside brought grain, livestock, and produce for trade. York did not produce goods on a large scale. It functioned as a distributor and regulator of regional commerce. Trades were strictly controlled by guilds, bakers, butchers, weavers, tanners, who determined quality, set prices, and controlled entry, while apprenticeships lasted 7 years, embedding knowledge, skill, and social norms deeply into the city's economic life. Streets such as the Shambles were crowded and unsanitary, with buildings leaning over narrow alleys, sunlight limited, and smells pervasive. Yet these streets were functional, densely organized, and socially interconnected, where everyone knew each other. Reputation was vital, and trust determined credit, commerce, and survival, making York a city where economic, social, and spatial organization worked together in a tightly woven fabric. Despite prosperity, York's population included many who struggled to survive. Beggars, vagrants, and the unemployed relied on parish relief, small payments, or food, while workhouses and almshouses sheltered those without homes or income. Social divisions were stark. The gentry lived in elegant townhouses and attended balls, while the poor remained in alleys and small tenements, visible yet socially separated. Yet the city functioned as a cohesive system, balancing commerce, governance, and social welfare. Daily life was communal and regulated, survival intertwined with trade, ritual, and reputation, creating a society where social, economic, and spatial structures reinforced each other, and everyone had a defined place within the city's hierarchy and rhythm. From November to February, York transformed into a stage for the gentry, who rented townhouses and participated in the social season. The assembly rooms hosted weekly balls requiring subscriptions, adherence to dress codes, and precise social etiquette. Horse racing at Knavesmire drew spectators and participants from across the region, while the theatre offered plays and concerts attended as much for visibility as for performance. These events were central to maintaining status, forming alliances, arranging marriages, and projecting wealth and influence. The city became a performance space where social hierarchy, power, and reputation were enacted through structured gatherings, allowing the gentry to display influence, network strategically, and reinforce long-standing cultural norms in a highly visible and orchestrated manner. York's Theatre Royal opened in 1744, hosted traveling companies, and became another arena for public performance, attracting gentry, merchants, and the rising middle class. Attendance was about social presence as much as entertainment, signaling participation in the city's cultural and social hierarchy. Through plays, concerts, and public spectacles, the city maintained its role as a capital of administration and social performance, blending cultural authority with civic life and reinforcing visibility, hierarchy, and the performative aspect of social interaction in an era where being seen mattered as much as law or trade. Dominating the city physically and spiritually, York Minster, one of Northern Europe's largest Gothic cathedrals, was central to daily life. Its bells marked the passage of time, guiding work, prayer, and communal life in a city without personal clocks. The Archbishop of York wielded authority beyond the spiritual realm, influencing politics, economics, and appointments across the north. The minster employed dozens of workers, including clergy, stonemasons, and artisans, making it both a religious and economic institution. Visible from almost every part of the city, it symbolized order, hierarchy, and cultural power, reminding all residents of the intertwined nature of religion, governance, and daily life. York's connection to the wider world relied on the River Ouse, linking it to the Humber and the North Sea, facilitating trade in coal, grain, and wool. Wharves and warehouses lined the river banks, while Ouse Bridge, crowded with shops and traffic, served as a vital crossing point. Coaching inns, including the Black Swan, George Inn, and York Tavern, supported stagecoach travel, mail delivery, and overnight stays, connecting York to London and other towns. Travel was slow, weather-dependent, and human-paced, yet reliable, ensuring that York remained integrated into regional trade networks while maintaining its deliberate, measured rhythm, reinforcing the city's slow, controlled, and socially connected way of life. By the late 1700s, the Industrial Revolution was underway elsewhere. Manchester and Sheffield expanded, canals were dug, coal production increased, and factories emerged. York remained outside these transformations due to geography, lack of coal, guild resistance, and gentry preference for stability and refinement over industrialization. The city maintained its role as a center of governance, trade, and social performance, preserving centuries-old rhythms and structures, even as rapid mechanization and large-scale production reshaped the rest of England, ensuring that York retained its measured pace and deliberate social order amid accelerating change around it. York in the late 1700s exemplified a city governed, traded, and socially organized at a human pace. Reputation, courts, clergy, guilds, and seasonal gatherings shaped daily life, and time moved according to rivers, horses, and bells rather than machines. This was not a declining world. It was a functioning system with logic and purpose, soon to be overtaken by industrial speed, mechanization, and impersonal scale. Yet it remained a remarkable example of governance, commerce, religion, and social order, demonstrating how a city could operate in balance long before the modern era arrived, preserving tradition and authority in every street, market, and institution. Step into the streets of historic York, experience its governance, trade, and timeless social rhythm. Like, subscribe, and journey through history with us.